Welcome to Speaking of Schaumburg. I'm Village President Al Larson. In this episode, we'll be joined by David Bresek to learn about what is new and exciting at the Campanelli YMCA. Then we'll talk to Cindy McCune and Bonnie Ramondi from Nursing Services. We'll close out the program by speaking with Karen Robles from the Schaumburg Transportation Department. All of this and more today here on Speaking of Schaumburg. The Campanelli YMCA has been a staple in Schaumburg, serving the community for many, many years. Dave Bresek is here, Chief Operating Officer, is here to tell us about what is next in store at the Y.
Thank you.
So tell me, who is Campanelli?
Alfred Campanelli was a longtime builder, built all the homes here in Schaumburg, and was a very big supporter of the YMCA when he was a young man back out in the Boston area, Massachusetts area. Went to the Y, loved the Y, and when we were looking to do about 13, 14 years ago about doing a capital campaign for then the Twin Brook YMCA.
Sure.
Our board approached Mr. Campanelli, and he generously donated a substantial amount of money and was able to let us expand the YMCA. And as a thank you, we put his name on the building.
As you should.
Yes.
You should.
Well, yes. And again, his name is on some parks and schools in Schaumburg, and he's
Sure.
a great supporter of the community. So.
How long have you been involved in the YMCA?
I've been at the Campanelli Y in Schaumburg for about 10 years. Overall, with the YMCA, 18 years. 18
years. Okay. And what is it? What do you do? What's your responsibility?
I have two titles. I have two long titles. I'm the Chief Operating Officer of the newly formed Golden Corridor Family YMCA, and the Executive Director of the Taylor Family Branch, which is the Elgin branch of the Y.
Okay.
We've got YMCA Camp Edwards, which is in East Troy, Wisconsin, which is a year-long, year-round family camp. Which we do family programs, school programs, environmental ed programs, and our big resident camp programs every summer.
Camp Edward, did you say?
YMCA Camp Edward, yes,
Okay.
East Troy, Wisconsin. It's on beautiful Lake Beulah in East Troy, Wisconsin.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
How far up is that?
It's about an hour and a half drive from here, just over the border, not too far.
How popular is that program?
We have, during the summer, we have roughly 1,100 children that come to camp every year, which what that means puts us about 160 kids on the wait list every summer. And so what we're seriously looking at, and we're in the process of getting this started, is we're going to launch a capital campaign in here in early to mid-spring, about a $2.25 million plan to add some more cabin space, more infrastructure, so we can accommodate those 160 plus kids on a waiting list every summer.
That must be pretty popular.
It's very popular. We have, children coming from all over the area, Chicagoland area, surrounding states, as well as 5 other countries come in
from
and
participate.
Countries.
How does that work?
We have international international counselor programs, as well as international camps. They come from, they've been participating, they've heard about our program, exchange student programs, and they just love the camp, so they come over and spend a couple of weeks with us during the summer.
Is that your most popular program? Or?
By far, Camp Edwards is the most popular. It's a year-long program, and again, we serve the most kids, and it helps our strengthen the Y reputation. It's Y work. You see those kids having a good time and laughing and smiling and interacting with the camp counselors and learning and coming back and telling their parents stories about what they did at camp. That's true Y work.
Now, when I was involved with the YMCA with my kids, they had the Indian Guide program. That's been changed to some extent, hasn't it?
Yes. The basic concept behind it is where, dads and daughters, dads and sons bond together, do activities. That's the purpose, that's the backbone, that's what it'll always be. Years ago, with some political issues, we changed it from Indian Guides and Indian Princesses to Adventure Guides and Adventure Princesses, where we eliminated some of the Indian-based themes, but the Native American-based themes on it. But it's still basically the same program, but we do outdoor. It's all about outdoor and nature communing with nature, and it's a bonding. It's a
you still
bonding
have flower bomb fights?
We do it. Certain camp outs, they still have some of those. A lot of those basics are still going to be the same. We've eliminated some of the ceremonies and the headdresses, but some, the basic principles and the fun that we used to put in there.
The huge bonfire that used to take place?
Yes, actually, yes. We do. We do bonfires. We usually do the big bonfire when we do our recruitment nights in the early fall. We open up the facility to leaders of the group to bring and recruit people and bring in families from the community who want to know what Adventure Guides, Adventure Princes is all about. And then we have a big bonfire for them.
You have senior programs too? Yes,
we do. We have a big senior program, which is one of our biggest growing programs. Senior aquatics, senior fitness classes. It's what's happening. It's what's happening in the community. So we've got a big program with our Silver Sneakers. So it's one of our growing programs.
Your Silver Sneakers.
Silver Sneakers. It is it's an insurance-based program. So we have 6 or 7 insurance companies that subsidize the seniors membership, and we get reimbursed per usage per the seniors. So again, it's with the changing climate of healthcare, where insurance companies are encouraging seniors to get out and exercise and things like that. And so we're one of the participants in that program, and so we get the benefit of seniors in the community coming in and using our facility.
How many seniors do you serve?
We have roughly 700. Enrolled in the program. Ongoing usage is roughly 350, on a regular basis come in and use the facility.
Do you have a swim team?
Our swim team at the Campanelli YMCA, no, but we do have a swim team at the Taylor Family YMCA. The Campanelli pool is a little too small to do a swim team, but we've got a huge swim program at Campanelli. We have roughly 120, 125 in our lessons every session, and we run 6 sessions throughout the year.
Oh, that's great. That sounds great.
Yeah, fantastic learn to swim program. It's a progressive from basic all the way up to our advanced programs.
So how do you find a niche for the exercise programs? There's so many exercise facilities in Schaumburg. Yeah.
What we do is we call it the Y way. It's the customer service. It's the member interaction. It's the connectiveness that we provide with our members when they come in the facility. We get them engaged from our front desk to our fitness instructors, to the fitness staff, to our other participants, to the child care programs. We indoctrinate them into the Y way right when they walk in the door and get them acclimated. And again, we make them feel part of the Y family. And they like that, and they appreciate it, and then they tell their friends and family about it, and that's the way we've been working, and it seems to work well for us.
How many staffers do you have?
We have roughly at between 200 to 225 staff, depending on
Is that full and part time?
Full and part time, depending on summer camp time. What time of the year it is.
Okay. Is that your busiest season? Is summertime?
Summer camp. We have anywhere between 350, 375 additional kids on site participating in our full day summer camp program. Okay. So it extends our programs quite well, and exhausts the extent of our facility a lot.
What is the Y way?
Our goal is to strengthen communities through healthy living, youth development, and social responsibility. And we take those 3 buckets, and everything we do, everything for those buckets drives what we do. Our bottom line is not important. Our members are important. Our community is important. Schaumburg is important. We want to strengthen the people in Schaumburg by running programs for them.
Well, I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Thanks for being with us.
Thank you very much.
The Village of Schaumburg Public Health and Nursing Program offers many services to residents. Learn more next here on Speaking of Schaumburg. From wellness clinics to cholesterol and memory screenings, the Public Health and Nursing Division offers resident services to help stay in top-notch health. Here to tell us more is Cindy McCune and Bonnie Raimondi. What does the nursing division do besides the screenings and the services that they provide? Tell me more about it.
Well, we have a wide variety of services. We do wellness clinics both at our office and off-site locations. We have a large medical equipment loan closet, and we do over 1,700 loans a year. We have the RX box.
What's an RX box?
The RX box is a safe way for the residents to be able to dispose of unused medications on a 24/7 basis. It's located inside the police department. And as you enter the police department, if you look to the right, it's a white mailbox. Okay. So what we ask residents to do with unused medications is take them out of the bottles, because the bottles tend to clog the system, the chute in the box. So take the pills, put them in a Ziploc baggie, and deposit them in there.
Okay.
If they have liquid medication, just keep that in the bottle and also throw it in a Ziploc bag.
We don't want any of that stuff to go into to the waste.
Correct, or get into the water system.
Water system, yeah.
So that's why we ask that you not flush it down the toilet or throw it out into the trash.
Okay.
Every single Monday, the box is emptied, and then we also, about every 3 to 4 months, with the EPA, the Illinois EPA, the medications are transported for incineration.
Okay. And Bonnie, you're a nurse, I would suspect.
No, actually, I'm a secretary. I've worked in the nursing division for quite a long time.
Well, you're a nurse on this program. No, go ahead. Yeah, how long have you been with the village?
Actually, I've been with the village for 25 years. I started when I was 15. No? But I'm a secretary. One of my primary responsibilities is with the loan closet. Marianne DeLillo and myself, we're the folks that you see when you want to come and borrow equipment from the loan closet. And that could be anything from a wheelchair to bathing equipment, mobility aids. It is actually a wonderful service. It helps folks when they need these items. A lot of times they only need it short term. This way they can borrow it. When they're done, they bring it back. They save on the cost, and they don't have to store the equipment, and it helps serve other people in the community. So it's an awesome resource.
Now there's an interesting story about that. How did the loan closet begin?
Well, it actually was started before I was here, and I believe Pat McHale, our community nursing supervisor, she was the one that actually started this, and it started very small. We had actually a closet that we kept equipment in, and over the years it has grown quite a bit. We have a lot of equipment and serve a lot of folks. Cindy mentioned we've loaned out this past year over 1,700 pieces of equipment, actually 71 more pieces than last year, so it continues to grow.
But it's not just Schaumburg, is it?
It's Schaumburg Township residents.
The story I heard was it was a nurses club that started it.
That could well be. It was before I started, so I can't speak to that.
So anybody in Schaumburg Township can utilize
Absolutely, and we do serve our friends in Hoffman and a part of Elk Grove, Streamwood, so it serves quite a large amount of people, and I'll tell you, a day does not go by that somebody doesn't thank us for having this kind of service. It really meets a need.
Now you mentioned wellness clinics of some sort. What?
Well, we do a lot of different clinics. At the wellness clinics, we're able to check blood pressures. At our office, we do cholesterol, blood pressure, blood sugar. And then we have some new screenings that we've been involved with, and one is our memory screening. About a year and a half ago, we partnered with the Alzheimer Foundation of America to be a screening site within the country. So we do these screenings on the third Monday of every month. They are free. It takes about 30 minutes. And then we also have an educational component. And if the resident comes in and the nurses find that there are some concerns, then they give them suggestions where to go for further follow-up. So this is, almost all of our slots are filled up on a regular basis. Then another program that we have that's coming up in March and April of this year is our Falls Risk Screening Clinics. The nurses are partnering with 2 physical therapists from Amita Alexian Brothers Health, and it's a 45-minute screening. The nurse does an initial assessment related to falls risks and also a medication assessment, and then works with the physical therapist on doing different tests to determine falls risk assessment and then also prevention strategies.
How many nurses do you have?
Right now we have 2 nurses that are 24 hours a week and 1 nurse that is 19 hours a week, plus myself.
Okay. And then is there a program where seniors get discharged from the hospital or?
Yeah, that's correct. When seniors are discharged from the hospital, or any resident, even those with disabilities, and we do have a few young ones, they go into skilled home care program under their Medicare benefits. When their Medicare benefits are finished, we get calls from the home care agencies to continue to see them. So what we do is we work with the resident and their family members on setting up and get different things in place so long-term they can remain in their home. It may be having a home lab come into their home and draw their labs as ordered by the physician. It might be working with companies in the area to get their medications pre-packaged so that they're taken on time and correctly to avoid potential for hospital readmissions due to medication non-adherence. So we have a lot of different programs, and we're an excellent resource center. We're trying to develop as more of a community resource center where people can come in, sit with us on a consultation type of basis and go through and answer all their questions about what's available. Because Schaumburg, we're very fortunate to be here. We have so many resources, and we want to let the residents know about them.
I'll see.
So they can always consult with a nurse, and we could fill them in.
You're involved in blood drives as well, or
Oh, correct.
We are.
We are, and we have one special.
just happen to have something there?
Yes, we just
do.
happen to have something. Every January, we have a little girl. Her name is Karina. And we've been having blood drives for her since she was very little. She had leukemia and now is cancer-free. So we have a big blood drive coming up on January 28th for her.
Is that her picture?
That's
Yeah,
her
that's
picture.
her picture. And
Yes.
over the years,
We've
she's
watched how she's grown. Yeah.
And she's there with the donors and speaks to them. And we really appreciate everybody coming out and donating. So if anybody's interested, you can call our office for questions at 847-923-3766. But the drive again is on January 28th.
Okay, it's coming up real quick.
Very soon, yes.
And our blood drives are at the Schaumburg Barn. It's an excellent location. People can park very close to the door. They can now, the day of the blood drive, go on to the LifeSource website and do all the screening questionnaire so that when they walk in, that's already done. It makes the process go very quickly. So we encourage people to do the screening the day of.
Well, we're lucky to have people like you involved. Really, it helps
And
quite a bit.
if anybody is interested, we're always looking for people who want to be a face for our blood drives. People who have given in the past, who want to send their message to others about the importance of giving blood. We're always looking for new individuals like that.
Oh, thank you, Cindy.
So, thank
Fine.
you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
I'll tell Harry I talked to you.
Okay.
Schaumburg is one of the busiest transportation hubs in the suburbs. Learn more here next on Speaking of Schaumburg. There's a wide variety of transportation options in Schaumburg, from buses and trains to bike routes to trolleys and even aircraft. Here to tell us more is Karen Robles, our Director of Transportation for the Village of Schaumburg. What do you do, Karen?
I do a lot of stuff, Mayor. Thank you for having me today. Transportation covers a wide range of options, as you mentioned. We do bike trails and sidewalks. We do roadway projects. We have the airport that we manage. We're coordinating with the tollway on the interchange projects.
Speaking of the airport.
Yes.
I understand that there's a new hire, relatively new hire.
There is, yes. In October, we brought on our very first airport manager. So we're very excited to have Eric Trydell on board with us. He comes with a great background of airport management experience, and he's helping us really focus on how we can improve and grow the airport.
What experience does he have? What's his background?
So he went to Southern Illinois University and got a degree. And so he worked at the airport down at Southern and also has experience at the Dane County Airport in Madison, Wisconsin, which is where he came to us from.
Really?
Yes.
What did he do there?
He was involved with operations management at that airport. So.
And what will he be doing here?
So here he oversees the day-to-day operations of the airport, makes sure that everything's in good working order, that the runway is safe and usable for our aircraft, and he's also looking to work with our tenants and figure out how we can expand and grow the airport and really make sure it's very successful in the future.
Now, what's the difference between an airport manager and an FBO? Now, what does FBO stand for?
The FBO stands for Fixed Base Operator, and so what the FBO does is they provide a lot of the technical services at our airport. So they provide the fueling services, they offer maintenance for our tenants and anyone else who might be visiting, and they provide some of the off-peak staffing hours where we don't have traditional staff available. The airport manager serves more as the village's liaison to the airport and makes sure that they're overseeing the FBO and making sure that they're following through on their contract, and just, looking at the long-range planning of the airport and how we can grow.
Now, FBO, fixed base operator, does he oversee the management? Is that what it is? I mean,
Yep. So they're.
And does every airport have an FBO?
Not every airport has an FBO. Most do. The larger the airport, they certainly do, but the smaller airports don't always have a fixed base operator.
What's the advantage of having an FBO when you can have an airport manager? I mean, here we have two people.
Sure. So an airport manager is a single person, and they really serve as the village's oversight of the airport. But with a fixed base operator, a lot of times they also have a private business that goes along with it. So they're staffing the airport with multiple people, longer hours than the village would have staff available. So they're out there 7 days a week, typically about 12 hours a day. And then they also have maintenance that they can provide where the village would have to hire multiple people to provide those services.
Can there be more than one FBO for an airport?
There can be more than one FBO. It depends on sort of the size of your airport and the need in terms of how many operations you have and if there's enough activity to support multiple fixed base operators.
How many planes are based there?
So we have about 90 planes based at the airport. It fluctuates a little bit seasonally. We see some people take off for the winter months and I think probably head south, but we average about 90 fixed based aviation vehicles.
Now let me switch gears here a little bit and talk about the Elgin O'Hare. Now my understanding is that ComEd wants to put up some towers.
Yes. 200
feet or 170 feet?
Yep. So we just received a notice in November that ComEd has this plan for some new transmission lines to run along the Elgin O'Hare I-390 Expressway. The plans are still a little bit...
It's still an expressway, it's not a tollway yet?
Not a tollway yet. The tollway will be taking over in July of 2016, and at that point, tolls will start to be assessed. So still an expressway at this point, tollway starting in July.
Okay.
So, but ComEd does have plans to put in some transmission lines. Our understanding, without seeing the detailed plans, is the poles will be between 140 and 170 feet tall. We do have some concerns from an aesthetic standpoint, but more importantly, they have the potential to impact the airport because of their proximity. So we're working with ComEd and their engineers as well as the FAA and IDOT.
Can they do that? Can they just put the towers up without consulting our airport?
They cannot. The Federal Aviation Administration as well as the Illinois Department of Transportation have oversight of anything that has the potential to impact airspace in the vicinity of an airport. And so the FAA and IDOT have already shared with ComEd that the poles and the construction cranes as proposed would encroach into the airspace and need to be lowered. And ComEd has indicated that they understand that and they're going to be making modifications, but we'll be very diligent in making sure that this project does not adversely impact the airport.
There's an ad hoc committee of some sort that is overviewing that. Are we represented on that committee?
So the ad hoc committee is specific to O'Hare Noise, and so it's part of the O'Hare Noise Compatibility Commission. And this ad hoc committee is specific to the Fly Quiet program, which is the overnight hours and trying to minimize the impacts of airport noise over residences. And so I am on that ad hoc committee. I'm the vice chair of that committee. And so we're working with a group of stakeholders and the public and several consultants to determine how we can modify the Fly Quiet program to even further reduce the impact of aircraft noise during the evening hours.
Now the Compatibility Committee actually has no power, though. They're just they meet on a monthly basis, right?
Right.
And you said you're the co-chair? You're the...
For the ad hoc committee, I serve on the large commission, I serve on the technical committee, and I'm the vice chair of the ad hoc committee. I'm very involved in that commission.
So you're saying that if people are upset about the noise of the aircraft, they can call you?
They certainly can.
And they have, I would suspect.
They have, yep. I've been in contact with several residents who had concerns, and I've shared what we're doing. The O'Hare Noise Compatibility Commission works very closely with the Chicago Department of Aviation, who manages O'Hare Airport, and they also work closely with the airlines and the FAA. And while they don't have any formal authority, they have very great working relationships, and we're confident that we're going to be able to implement some changes that are going to be for the benefit of our residents.
And there was an issue regarding ramps coming off of the Elgin O'Hare, is that correct?
The ramps are going to remain. There was some question about the frontage roads and sort of the future of those frontage roads. The tollway, there's some legislation that restricts the tollway from taking on frontage roads that don't provide direct access to or from their tollways. So we're working with them, and it's likely that the village will be taking over jurisdiction of those frontage roads so we can maintain good connectivity in that area.
There's an industrial park down there. So,
there is.
So that's important, I suspect, right?
It is. You know, the frontage roads provide nice connections and easier access to those ramps to get on I-390, and so we want to make sure that we're providing those connections and that we're not causing vehicles to have to travel farther than necessary to get through that area.
And now let's move to the Jane Addams tollway, and the provision being made for a bike path over that at the intersection of Brazil and the Jane Addams tollway. Is that correct?
That's correct. We've received some federal funding to construct a bike bridge and bike path that will connect along the west side of Roselle Road from the existing path at Hillcrest north. It'll go over the Jane Addams, and then it will also go over Central Road and connect directly into the Forest Preserve property. So it's going to be a really nice amenity.
And a Paul Douglas?
Yes.
So it'll be connectivity not just to the Forest Preserve, but also to Harper College. Is that correct?
Exactly. It's a connection that didn't exist previously, and so we're very excited about the new connectivity and amenities that are going to be accessible for our residents.
I mean, that's funded, isn't it? I mean,
that's correct. We're entering into final design for that project, so construction is still a few years away, but we have secured federal grant funding, so the project is definitely moving forward.
Okay, and we don't have time to talk about the Cook County and making their promised improvement. Is that correct?
We are coordinating with Cook County to make sure that they follow through on the commitments they've made in terms of access along I-90 and getting the ramp constructed. So we're working with them.
Okay, well, good job.
Great. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. That'll do it for this edition of Speaking of Schaumburg. Tune in next month for an all-new episode. Until then, I'll see you around town.